You see that thumbnail you just clicked on? It is actually a still from the film, but I picked it for a reason. It was a strategic choice, let me just tell you. We are talking Asylum, the Lost Footage. Found footage mockumentary style movie by director Dan T. Hall. Now, it's a 2013 movie and only runs for just over an hour. I'm actually, if I remember, going to link the movie below, because you can actually watch it on the Terror Films actual YouTube channel for free. So I'm going to link it below if I remember to put it there. I love asylum movies. I love a haunted asylum movie. It's one of my kind of favourite specific subgenres. And this is one I hadn't seen before, so I was quite keen to check it out. I really enjoyed Grave Encounters, and I've enjoyed a few of the, even the lower kind of the lower tier haunted asylum found footage movies. What's the story? Well, we have a group of paranormal amateur kind of ghost hunters deciding they're going to go into this abandoned hospital to try and film the White Woman, this kind of like mysterious ghostly apparition which has been seen and documented and has previously, we think, been responsible for disappearances. So they go in there and of course they meet more than they expect. But we also have a kind of group of kind of talking heads, a group of experts, shall we say, that are kind of interspersed through the footage talking about the case. So let's discuss. Okay, so this tries to do a little bit something different. We're going to talk about the positives first of all, but I'm not going to bury the lead here. This wasn't a good movie, but I want to say some things first, because I actually feel like this movie could have been at least okay had it gone a more of a traditional found footage style route, even with the footage that it had. If it had been edited differently, I feel this movie could have been mediocre at best, but better than it is at the moment. Because at the moment, it presents itself as a kind of a mockumentary. So this is like a kind of, if you like, it's pretending to be this kind of this documentary about this footage that was recovered at this kind of like abandoned hospital before it got demolished. And we kind of see snippets of it interspersed with interviews from like a retired police officer, someone from the hospital, a paranormal expert, all of whom are commenting on it. And then we have these kind of little flash cuts of kind of like mysterious things that aren't actually to do with the story, but just kind of like, you know, someone behind glass, or it's kind of like someone's eye, or it's kind of like a flash of just someone walking down a hole and things like this. And then we have the actual kind of footage of the actual kind of found footage portion intermixed with that. So the whole movie feels like a trailer. It's the best way I'd describe it. You know, if you've ever watched a trailer, they kind of intersperse different kind of sections of the movie in out of order. So it kind of looks at like it's lots of kind of different kind of sequences here and there. The whole movie feels like that. Now, it has some problems, which I'm going to come on to, but I think, okay, they tried to do something a little different. They tried to make it look like a documentary which has been produced based on kind of found footage. So they tried to do something different. It's the best way I can just kind of spin that into a positive. But is there anything else that I can say? I have to say I didn't think the acting was too bad. From both the cast that are in the hospital, they're okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, this ain't Oscar-worthy stuff. Or the kind of the talking heads, which are our panel of experts and stuff. I didn't think the acting was too bad. And the actual hospital that they're filming as well, I'd say it's a good kind of location. Apparently it was filmed in a real hospital, you know, a real kind of abandoned hospital. So it looks, you know, it looks pretty good. So there is some good stuff there. You can get away with kind of cheap effects of the found footage movie to a certain degree, but boy did they go wrong. Boy did they go wrong. Okay, so let's discuss. So I've tried to explain how this movie kind of looks, but it has a number of it creates these problems that it didn't need to. Had this been more of a run-of-the-mill kind of like found footage movie, yes, it would have looked like probably dozens of others. But I think at least it would have been more entertaining, because the problem here is multiple. So the issue of having this mockumentary kind of style you can't really kind of get into that immersion, because you're not feeling like you're watching found footage. You are feeling like you're watching something that is produced, even though this isn't a real documentary. I mean, had this been a real documentary, it might have been interesting, but it's not. It's a mockumentary, so therefore it isn't interesting. You know, so when we see this, the kind of these sequences of the actual found footage bits, you know, these kids going into this hospital, you know, it kind of deflates any drama, because it's all intercut with these other sequences, from the experts to these kind of stupid little kind of like inserts that they put in and stuff like that. So it completely deflates the kind of any real tension, because you're not ever really buying into the concept. So any kind of like spookiness is completely undone whenever it kind of, and it does it a lot. This isn't every so often. This movie does it a lot, constantly through the film. So you're always getting taken out the kind of like the immersion, and you're always kind of the narrative is constantly kind of being interrupted. It was a horrible decision to do it like that. I understand the reason they wanted to make it kind of like a difference, but it has massively kind of like undercut the film, unfortunately. Like I said, the actual found footage segments, relatively kind of generic. This would have been at best a generic movie, but it would have been, you know, passable compared to a lot of these kind of like the same kind of style ones. You know, yes, we get a group of kids, same old story, you know, this whole hospital, weird shit on the walls, you know, mysterious figures that you get flashes of here and there. It's all in there. There's nothing particularly impressive. It's pretty generic, but you know, at best it would have been a passable film, but the way it is, it's just terrible. But the other thing as well, I think, that compounds the issue is that these kind of experts, it offers nothing. It offers nothing. These people just waffle, and I thought the acting wasn't too bad. But like, we get this guy, this police guy, and he's the guy I put on the thumbnail. He just waffles and waffles and waffles, like it's like, and when he speaks, it's like there's nothing relevant. You're not really talking about anything relevant. It's like, oh, you know, in the police we kind of like think there's no ghosts and things like this, but well, obviously, it's just, oh my god, you know, it's complete waffle, and it's like long pauses. Why is this in here? Why is this in here? It's completely kind of ruining your own movie. I mean, I can only think the other reason, maybe this was kind of like just a really short movie, they needed to pad it out. But yeah, these experts, not badly acted, but massively undercut the kind of the movie itself. And then we're meant to believe that we have these little inserts. I think, is that meant to be the actual footage of the things they're kind of like seeing? Because if it is, why is it kind of like, do we the viewers see this, but they're kind of like, this is not what the kind of the characters are seeing, and things like this. Or this is like dramatization stuff, which is you know, in context of the film, it's been put in after the fact. Oh god, it's just such a kind of like mess of a film. And then of course you've got the distorted audio and things like that. You know, you've got to have like, you know, messing up the kind of the picture here and there. And then we have the actual kind of footage themselves. We park all the rest of it. You know, it's got people like the same old kind of problems you have with found footage, like, you know, why are they filming certain things? When they get scared, they're kind of still managing to kind of like film things and get people in frame and things that doesn't kind of make sense. Yeah, so it wouldn't have been a great movie, but it would have been, you know, kind of like middle of the road at the very best. But at least it would have been better than what we got. Oh my god, this one was painful. Unfortunately, it was. You can't even pretend to be interested in it, because it's just like the editing choices here are some of the worst, if not the worst editing choices I've ever seen in a film. Terrible, terrible end product. But the most frustrating thing for me is that it could have been better. Even with the footage they've had, it could have been better. If they cut out all the crap and just had a kind of a standard found footage movie, it probably would have been half as long, but it would have been an interesting kind of half an hour. Boy, this one was a toughie, and I have seen some bad found footage movies. I'll give it a little bit of props, to say, for the acting, a little bit of props for the location, and I appreciate the attempt to have something different, but it did not work. This one, for me, is a 2 out of 10. Bad, but see for yourself. I'll put it down below. 2 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.